Hello, good morning. Continuing on with our mini web series, video series about internal linking and siloing. Hello, my name is Terry Samuels. I am the owner of Salterra Digital Services, SEO Spring Training, SEO University. Along the same lines that we've talked about the first two that we did, this one's going to be talking about one that I do get questions a lot. And people don't really think much about the homepage. So internally linking from the homepage. So most of them right out of the gate will have a paragraph about a service or all their multiple services, which you should. You should have a snippet paragraph about all the stuff on the homepage. And then they'll have a learn more button, or they'll have a read more button, or they'll use that type of so-called anchoring system. And one of the things that's perfectly fine for consumers. Consumers will click the big red learn more button for Botox or whatever they're there for. But for search engines, you really want to have a contextual link. Okay, so, and you can do a couple different things. You can, if you put a link inside the paragraph going to the Botox page, call it Botox services or whatever that anchor is. Well, in the next video series, I'll talk about anchoring and what anchor text to use. But if you're linking inside your contextual link on the home page to your Botox page, Botox services is your anchor, that's going to be a good link, a good internal anchor for Google, Yahoo, Bing, all those different search engines. One of the things that you want to pay attention to when you look at your home page is, number one, am I linking to my inner pages with contextual anchors? Number two, do these links go to the top of the funnel? So a website I looked at a couple weeks ago, it was a statewide business, so to speak, so local business, but they did not have an exact match domain, which we'll talk about in a different series. But so they weren't trapped by the URL, and so, but they were linking from their home page to a inner city page. So they had the silo, okay, so they had home pages, and then they had services, and then all the different services were listed on the service page, internally anchored going to the individual services, anchor back to the services, so on and so forth. But that's the typical silo for a typical med spa, home services, whatever website. So, but your internal links from the home page went, I call it 3 levels deep into the city page. So if you have your service page, then you have a state page, then you have a city page, which is the way I like to do my silos. So I'll have a Colorado page, and I'll list all the different services on the Colorado page, and then I'll internally link from the Colorado page to the individual city pages, and then back and forth, which we've talked about before, and I'll go into more later. But the whole idea is that the silo system will naturally take the path of power, so to speak. So, but if you link from the home page down to the city page and you skip the other two silo levels, or the other two, whatever you want to call them, power levels, then you've kind of defeated the purpose. So the purpose is to help all of them. So the home page obviously gets the most, links, backlinks. They're probably going to have the most referring domains, stuff like that. And some of them are going to be powerful. So when you get those powerful links, does it make sense to throw that right to the bottom of a city page, or does it make sense to throw it to the top of a silo for Colorado and then all your different services? So when you link from the home page and you look at the home page, make sure you look at it from not just the consumer point of view, but how a search engine would crawl that page. Are you giving the right information to a page crawl? Another thing to look out for, and this is where I'll stop this video, is sometimes these button links, learn more, read more, whatever, these button links have a place for an alt text. They might even have a place for description. So look at the code in your theme and see if you have an opportunity to put an alt text, description, some kind of contextual, information about that button. That'll give you also another power play to tell the search engines that, yeah, it's a learn more button, but it's a learn more button going to the Botox services page, and stuff like that. So just pay attention. Don't ignore the home page. With WordPress especially, a lot of the stuff fresh out of the gate is okay, but you have to take a few extra steps to make sure that you're providing the search engines with enough information to get the power and rankings that you want. All right, so have a great day. Talk to you guys soon.